No ship was unsinkable. The Andrea Doria proved it, but not how you think. The year was 1956. The Italian luxury liner Andrea Doria was a marvel of post-war engineering and opulence, slicing through the Atlantic towards New York. Her passengers, a mix of socialites, families, and those seeking a new life, dreamt of arrivals and new beginnings. She was considered one of the safest ships afloat, a floating fortress. Simultaneously, heading east from New York was the Swedish-American Line's MS Stockholm. A smaller, sturdier vessel built for strength in icy waters, she was a working ship, carrying fewer passengers but a substantial cargo. Two ships, two nations, two destinies, converging in the dense fog off Nantucket. On July 25th, the fog rolled in thick and suffocating. It was a common hazard in those waters, but one that demanded extreme vigilance. Radar, a relatively new technology, was on board both ships. Yet, the lessons of its proper use and the dangers of complacency were about to be etched into maritime history. At 11:10 p.m., the unthinkable happened. The Stockholm, having drastically altered course, emerged from the fog like a phantom. Her ice-strengthened bow, designed to crush through pack ice, became a spear piercing deep into the starboard side of the Andrea Doria, near her bridge. The impact was catastrophic. For the Andrea Doria, it was a mortal wound. Water rushed in, quickly flooding multiple compartments. The ship immediately began to list heavily to starboard, a fatal lean that would seal her fate, rendering half of her lifeboats completely unusable. Chaos erupted. Passengers, many jolted awake from their sleep, scrambled in the darkness. The ship's list made navigation treacherous, passages turning into steep slopes. The screams, the shattering glass, the desperate scramble for safety, a nightmare unfolding in the dead of night. Remarkably, despite the devastating collision, the Andrea Doria remained afloat for 11 hours. This endurance bought precious time, allowing for one of the most successful maritime rescue operations in history. Other ships, hearing the distress calls, converged on the scene. The French liner Isle de France, initially 40 miles away, diverted immediately, full steam ahead. Her crew performed heroically, maneuvering their much larger ship to create a lee for the smaller lifeboats. It was a beacon of hope in the grim dawn. Over 600 passengers and crew were saved, a testament to human courage and cooperation in the face of disaster. However, 51 lives were lost directly as a result of the collision, 46 on the Andrea Doria and 5 crew members on the Stockholm. A heavy toll for a preventable accident. The Stockholm, though severely damaged, managed to remain afloat and limped back to New York, her bow a crumpled mess. Her passengers had endured their own terror, but their ship, built like a fortress, had held. The contrast between the two vessels' fates was stark. The subsequent investigations were intense, focusing on who was to blame. Both captains initially pointed fingers, each claiming the other ship was in the wrong position, violating maritime rules of the road. The fog, of course, complicated everything. The core of the problem lay in misinterpretation of radar. The Andrea Doria's officers believed the Stockholm was further away and would pass port to port. The Stockholm's officers, however, misinterpreted their own radar, believing the Andrea Doria was on a collision course, leading them to turn into her path. It was a tragic ballet of errors, a failure of communication, and an over-reliance on new technology without a full understanding of its limitations and proper procedures. The human element, despite technological advancements, remained the weakest link. The Andrea Doria's sinking also highlighted critical design flaws. Her watertight bulkheads, while numerous, were not sealed at the top, allowing floodwaters to spread when the ship listed severely. This design choice, common at the time, was a fatal vulnerability. Furthermore, the placement of her fuel tanks low in the hull meant that as fuel was consumed, the ship's center of gravity would rise. This, combined with insufficient ballast, made her inherently less stable, especially after suffering a major breach. The disaster sparked a global reevaluation of maritime safety regulations. The International Convention for the Safety of Life at Sea, or SOLAS, was updated significantly. New rules for radar interpretation, bridge procedures, and bulkhead design became paramount. The Andrea Doria now rests at a depth of over 240 feet, a tomb for the lost and a magnet for divers. Known as the Mount Everest of wreck diving, her treacherous currents and depth have claimed more lives than the original sinking. Her legacy, however, is not just one of tragedy. It's a story of survival, of human ingenuity in rescue, and a stark reminder that even the most advanced ships are at the mercy of the sea and human error. It was a collision that changed how we sail. The Stockholm, by the way, was repaired and sailed for decades under various names. She was eventually renamed the Astoria and continued to serve until 2021, a testament to her robust construction, a phoenix rising from the ashes of a tragic encounter. The Andrea Doria and Stockholm collision serves as a powerful cautionary tale. It underscores the critical importance of clear communication, proper training, and the understanding that technology is a tool, not a substitute for human judgment and vigilance. It's a chilling reminder that the ocean, in all its vastness and mystery, demands respect, and that even in an era of advanced technology, the human element and the decisions made in moments of crisis ultimately steer the course of fate. The ghosts of that night, the screams and the rushing water, still echo in the depths, a silent lesson for all who navigate the unforgiving seas. What other maritime disasters reshaped the rules of the sea? Dive deeper with us next time.